Your company makes $1 million a year. You have employees. Customers know your name. Everyone thinks you're successful, but there's one problem. You're still checking the bank account before paying yourself. You're working 60 hours a week. You're carrying the stress. You're taking the risk. And somehow, everybody seems to be getting paid, except you. If that sounds familiar, your business may have a problem that more sales alone won't fix. Hi, I'm Us Melbourne, founder of Melbourne Accounting Solutions. Today, I want to have a different kind of conversation. Not about another tax deduction, not about another CRA deadline. I want to talk about something many business owners are embarrassed to admit. My business makes good money, but personally, I don't feel financially successful. If that's you, I want you to understand something. Revenue is not wealth, and owning a busy business doesn't necessarily mean you own a profitable one. Meet David. Let's imagine a business owner named David. David's company generates $1.2 million in annual sales. From the outside, David looks successful. He has 10 employees, company vehicles, a nice office, hundreds of customers. His social media looks fantastic. People tell him business must be booming, and David smiles. But they don't see what happens behind the scenes. Every 2 weeks, payroll, every month, rent, insurance, vehicle payments, software, advertising, loan payments, suppliers, credit cards, taxes, and when everybody else has been paid. David looks at what's left. Almost nothing. Here's the problem. David thought he owned a $1.2 million business, but $1.2 million wasn't his income. It was his revenue. Let's follow the money. For illustration, revenue, $1,200,000 less direct costs, $600,000. Now there's gross profit, $600,000. Sounds great. But now we pay payroll, rent, advertising, insurance, vehicles, technology, professional fees, interest, office expenses, and everything else required to operate the company. Suppose those expenses total $550,000. What's left? $50,000. David generated $1.2 million in sales. But the business produced only about $50,000 before considering other relevant items. That's roughly a 4% margin in this simplified example. Now ask yourself, was David running a $1 million business or a $50,000 profit business with $1 million passing through it? That's a very different conversation. Lesson has shown, stop bragging about revenue. I hear entrepreneurs say, we did $2 million last year. My next question is, how much did you keep? Because you cannot pay your mortgage with revenue. You cannot retire on revenue. You cannot build wealth with revenue that disappears through expenses. Revenue gets attention. Profit creates options. Lesson #2. Your business may be underpriced. Maybe David doesn't have an expense problem. Maybe he has a pricing problem. Suppose his costs increased 15% over 3 years, but his prices only increased 3%. His suppliers raised their prices. Employees received raises. Insurance increased. Rent increased. Fuel increased. Software increased. But David was afraid to raise prices because he didn't want to lose customers. So who absorbed all those increases? David did. His customers kept their savings. His employees received their wages. His suppliers maintained their margins. The owner's profit got squeezed. Lesson #3. Some customers may be making you poor. This one surprises business owners. Not every customer is a good customer. Imagine customer A generates $100,000 in annual sales. Fantastic. But customer A demands discounts, pays 60 days late, requires constant attention, creates rework, calls after hours, consumes employee time, and complains about every invoice. After calculating the true cost of servicing that account, that $100,000 customer may be far less profitable than you think. Meanwhile, a $40,000 customer who pays immediately and requires very little support could contribute more economically to the business. Sales volume and customer profitability are not the same thing. Lesson #4. The owner's time has a cost. Here's another mistake. David works 60 hours every week, but he doesn't include the economic value of his own labor when evaluating the business. Ask yourself, if David had to hire someone to perform everything he currently does, sales, management, operations, customer service, administration, problem solving, what would that person cost? Maybe $80,000, maybe $120,000, maybe more. If the business only appears profitable because the owner is working enormous hours for inadequate compensation, you may not own a profitable business. You may own a demanding job. Here's the question that changes everything business owners frequently ask. How can I get more customers? But sometimes that's the wrong question. The better questions are, which customers actually make me money? Which products have my highest margins? Which services should I stop offering? Where are my costs increasing? Is my pricing still appropriate? How productive is my payroll? How much cash does my growth consume? And finally, how much money is this business actually creating for me? Now we're thinking like owners. You didn't start a business just to create revenue. You started a business to create value. Value for your customers, value for your employees, but eventually value for you and your family too. If everybody benefits financially from your company, except the person taking the risk, something needs to change. The 5 numbers I want you to know. Forget 50 accounting ratios for a moment. Every month, I want a business owner to understand at least these 5 numbers. 1. Revenue. How much did we sell? 2. Gross profit. How much remained after the direct cost of delivering those sales? 3. Operating profitability. What did the core business actually generate after operating costs? 4. Cash flow. Where did the money actually go? 5. Owner compensation. What economic benefit is the business actually providing to its owner? Put those numbers together, and suddenly your business begins telling you a story. And here's the hardest question. Suppose your company generates $1 million annually. You work 60 hours every week. You haven't taken a proper vacation in 3 years. You're constantly stressed, and you're taking home less than you could earn working for somebody else. Ask yourself, what exactly am I building? That's not an insult. That's an important business question, because perhaps your company doesn't need to close. Perhaps it needs to change. Better pricing, better customers, better systems, better financial reporting, better cost control, better delegation, better strategy. This is where Melbourne Accounting Solutions wants to change the relationship business owners have with their accountants. We don't want you simply asking, how much tax do I owe? We want you asking, how do I build a financially stronger company? Let's look at your margins, your expenses, your payroll, your pricing, your cash flow, your customer profitability, and what the business is actually producing for you as the owner. Because sometimes the answer isn't sell more. Sometimes the answer is keep more of what you're already selling. If your company looks successful from the outside, but the numbers don't feel successful on the inside, contact Melbourne Accounting Solutions. Let's find out where the money is going. Tonight, forget your revenue for a moment. Ask yourself one question. After everybody else gets paid, is this business adequately rewarding me for the money, time, stress, and risk I'm putting into it? If you don't like the answer, don't ignore it. That's the beginning of a much more important financial conversation. I'm Everald Melbourne, founder of Melbourne Accounting Solutions. Our mission is simple: to help Canadian business owners make smarter financial decisions, reduce unnecessary taxes, keep more of what they earn, and build stronger businesses. If this lesson made you look at your business differently, subscribe to the channel. We're going beyond bookkeeping and taxes to talk about the numbers that actually determine whether your business and you are succeeding. And if you're generating strong sales but constantly wondering where the money went, contact Melbourne Accounting Solutions. Let's follow the numbers and find out. Helping Canadian business owners learn, grow, prosper. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.